Hello students, welcome to the lecture series on Industrial Automation and Control, course code KEE053. So let's begin the second lecture today. Now before going what are the advantages of automation, let us take you briefly to the system which we have developed in our electrical machines laboratory. So this is a system that we have developed. In fact, it's a system, if I were to mark it, a simple system which is giving you an overview of the different components which are being used in a PLC based system, as you can see here. So these are the known as the push button stations. Clear? Having the normally open and normally closed contacts. This green button is normally open contact and this red is normally closed. See, this is a fully automated system, means we are using a PLC controller here. This is a PLC controller, and with the help of this PLC controller, which is basically of make delta, and the model is DVP SS211R. So this controller basically has got 8 inputs and, as you can see, 6 outputs, having the nomenclature Y0, Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4 and Y5. And you have a power supply for this particular controller, which is a switch mode power supply SMPS, and a relay module which is basically having 8 relays in it. And here you have got the control supply MCB. This is the control supply MCB, and here you have the power contactor, which is again a sort of an actuator. Okay, so what we are doing basically in this entire system is we are giving some input. Okay, we are giving an input which is having name x0, x1. So x0 and x1 are basically the inputs which are of digital nature. Digital, I mean to say, either the value will be 0 or 1. So here we are using 24 volt DC supply, 24 volt DC supply as input from the different push button stations to the PLC. So if you see here, what I am trying to prove is this PLC, it is a controller, but it is not automatic. Means there is a difference. When you say that something is automatic, means it does not require any input. It does not require any input. When you say something is automated, some system is automated, automated, like PLC. Automated system still, it requires an input. Means this particular PLC will not switch on its own unless and until it gets an input from this push button, isn't it? It will not give you any output unless and until it receives an input from this push button. So we say that this particular PLC is not automatic, means it will not run on its own. It requires an input. For this PLC to run. Clear? So automated systems, we say they are not automatic. Clear? They are not automatic. They require an input. So what would be the advantages? Like if there is any process is there and you automate it. So after this automation, after you have achieved the automation, what will be the advantages? Let's say I give you a case study. If you see here the same diagram, let's say if I have to run 6 motors, okay, if I have to run 6 motors in any company, if I have got 6 motors are there, okay, so I require how many dual starters? I require? How many dual starters? Let's say I've got 6 induction motors are there. 6 induction motors I have to run. Okay, 6 induction motors I have to run. How many dual starters I require to run that? I require 6 dual starters, isn't it? So if I were to run the same 6 motors with only one dual starter, means my cost of switchgear has reduced. So I can run 6 motors with only one dual starter, and I can control this dual starter with one PLC. So one PLC output can run 6 motors. Imagine how much reduction in cost will be there of the switchgear, of the electrical switchgear. So we say that the biggest advantage of automation is now see, if you have got 6 dual starters, means again take it to the same diagram, you have to switch on, switch off all the 6 motors individually. Let's say in this particular case there are 5 push button stations, so one push button is for one motor, second motor, third motor, fourth motor, fifth motor, sixth motor. So you have to switch each and every motor one by one, and imagine that the position of the motor is at a remote location. So in a company you have to do a lot of touring to switch on the motors, so there will be a lot of time wastage. That is why once we automate the whole process, means one push button, one input, switching on all the 6 motors. So definitely what will happen? It will lead to lot of reduction. There will be a reduction in operating time, isn't it? operating time is going to get reduced. Which operating time? Time required to switch on the motors. So when the motors will be switched on fast with minimum delays, obviously there will be more productivity, isn't it? More productivity, because you are going to produce more in lesser span of time, isn't it? So we say that automation is one such thing which, we say that automation helps us to achieve productivity, means we are able to produce more. First and foremost, you can say the advantage of automation. Second thing, there is, as I told you, there is reduction in downtime of machines. Wherever you have, in any industry, wherever you have repetitive jobs, repetitive job means some job is there which requires repetitive action. So there, you can reduce manpower by automating the entire process, the entire process. So what you achieve is, you achieve accuracy. Once you have automated it, you achieve accuracy, because now the controller is going to take care of all the needs. You don't have manpower, you don't require any human monitoring. We can say human monitoring is no longer required. So chances of random error, because random error can come in any system, okay, are ruled out once you have installed the controller. Only thing is that PLC requires a conditioned environment. Means you have to ensure wherever you are installing the device, it should have temperature control and humidity control. Otherwise, these two factors, they are the biggest enemy for this controller. So if the temperature is not within the permissible limits, or the humidity is not within the permissible limit, they can have an adverse effect on the performance of the controller. It can malfunction because it has got electronic circuitry inside and it is very sensitive to dust. So I said conditioned environment means dust free also. Okay, so these things you have to take care of when you are automating any process through a PLC. Okay, automating is nothing but you are giving inputs to that, and based upon some conditions the controller is giving you desired outputs. So this is basically what automation is all about and what are its advantages. It is helping you to achieve productivity, reduction in downtime of machines, repetitive jobs wherever there are, you are reducing the manpower. The only disadvantage, I say disadvantage of a PLC is, disadvantage of PLC is what? It is leading to unemployment in the sense where you require two people in any process. Maybe you have automated it, now you don't require any people to take care of it, isn't it? So it is generating a lot of unemployment, we can say. So that is a disadvantage. And second thing is, you require skilled persons to handle the controller, handle the PLC, means persons who are having knowledge of programming. You require those persons to take care of the PLC. So that is all about today's lecture. In the next lecture we are going to study about the automation pyramid, the levels in which industrial automation is divided. Okay, we will be studying all those levels and comparing the levels with our system. So happy learning. Thank you. जय देवभूमि, जय उत्तराखंड.